This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to you by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup, register, and attend one of our fantastic networking meetings, which we meet on the first and third Thursday at the Brick House in Ridley Park, and the second and fourth Thursday at the Upper Crust in Newtown Square. We look forward to seeing you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm rejoined by Sheik Meah from the Great Media Comic-Con. Sheik, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you and the What's Happening Delco podcast. It's always awesome.
Now, this is the first time I really wanted to have like the applause button so I can welcome you back to the podcast. You are the first returning guest we've ever had, which means that I'm hoping the first time really wasn't so bad for you and that this is okay to come back.
First and foremost, honored. I did not know that.
Yes, you are the first and only. Yeah.
A little history there. And yes, it was awesome, doing this podcast last year and being able to not just get out what we were doing with the Great Media Comic-Con, but also being able to connect with some people. And there were quite a few people that mentioned that they heard about it from this podcast. So it was awesome.
Well, it's nice to know you were on as a guest back in March of last year. The sedatives finally wore off, so you have no recollection of your experience, and we could just jump right into it. The Great Media Comic-Con is back for another year. Talk about some changes, improvements, what the guests can expect.
Sure. So Great Media Comic-Con last year, it was the first time thing that we were doing it. We had no idea how good or bad or indifferent was going to be. And I'll put it like this. We were expecting a turnout of maybe about 600 people. We ended up with a little over 1,000.
Wow.
I mean, it was an incredible turnout. More importantly, everyone seemed to have a blast. And so this year, what we decided to do was that we were going to make it bigger. We were going to make it more fun. We were going to make it more unique. And we were going to try to bring something that was going to be really special. So what we're doing is we're expanding it 3 days. So instead of just being a Saturday, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with Friday being a special movie screening. We've partnered with the Media Theater, which is historical in their own right. And this will be the first time that the Media Theater will be showing a theatrical movie since Beetlejuice came out.
Wow.
So to give you an idea, that's over 30 years. So we're showing Back to the Future. We have Claudia Wells, who played Jennifer in the movie, who is going to do a little Q&A, sign autographs. We're going to have the DeLorean car out there as well, which, by the way, the DeLorean car will be parked right in front of the Media Theater. So even if you don't buy tickets, you can still take pictures, because one of the reasons why we are even doing the Media Comic-Con is we want everybody in Delco to have fun, So it's definitely going to be a really awesome time with that. Not to mention, we're going to have a cosplay contest that's specifically Back to the Future theme. The Media Theater is doing some specialty drinks that have to do, kind of Back to the Future based. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And that's kind of going to be the kickoff. And then Saturday and Sunday go into our regular kind of Comic-Con. And you mentioned some improvements. This year, we weren't able to do it last year. This year, we're going to actually have some panels. And for people who have never been to a Comic-Con or have never been to a convention at all, panels are one of those things where you get to go and actually listen to our celebrity guests, not just speak on stuff, but ask you questions. You get to ask them questions. And, we're going to have quite a few of those. I believe we're going to have 5 over the next 2 days. And I mean, we're bringing stuff back that we had before. We had our cosplay contest where we had a adult winner and a child winner. We did something where it was like a cornhole competition where you had to be dressed up as your favorite character to play. We were going to have the DeLorean there over the course of the weekend. Sunday is going to be geared more towards families who wanted to bring kids. Saturday, you could bring kids too, but Sunday, we're going to try to have some specialty, kid-only features too. And of course, we're going to have all our local vendors who wanted to be part of this, selling stuff at a discount, everything from comics to toys to even just some extra trinkets and specialty made things that speak to Delco. Not to mention, have you heard about this Delco, the movie?
I've heard a little. You know what? They've kept it so secret. I don't even know. What is this thing?
So, Delco the movie is basically they're going to do a movie that is going to be sort of a coming of age story, but it's based in Delco. It's about the experiences that the director Chris had in Delco. Leah Savoli, who's one of our guests, is heavily involved in this as well. And they have decided to bless us with we're going to have the world premiere of the trailer. So the world premiere of the trailer will be playing Friday right before we show Back to the Future. And we're super excited that everybody who was involved in this was willing to allow us to do that. And that's going to be really, really exciting too, because, it's going to be a celebration of Delco as well.
Look, that's exciting. And Chris was a guest of the podcast. And I say that tongue in cheek about Delco, the movie, being a secret, because it was all over, and Absolutely. They had so many people that were out to be extras and made some cameos, and it was a lot of fun during the shooting. And I know with the strike, the timing of things got a little bit jumbled. Now, you talked about some of the days and what you're doing. Talk a little bit about the hours, and beyond the media theater, where can people find the actual venue that you're going to be holding this in?
Yeah, so it's going to be at the same place we had it last year, which is the Media Community Center, which is 301 North Jackson Street. If you're familiar, it's right next to the police station. That they do have some parking. There is a playground right near there as well. It's one block off of State Street, which is the main hub right there in Media. On Friday, it's going to be a little longer, whereas Friday we're going to be from, I believe, 11 to 7, and then or excuse me, not Friday, Saturday rather. And then Sunday it's 11 to 5. But I mean, the great thing about this is that, as I mentioned, we're going to have some specific panels that are there. Some of the guests that we are having too this year, as I mentioned, Claudia Wells, who has a very interesting backstory. Anyone who's Back to the Future fans knows that she was in the first movie, but wasn't in the second and third. And there was kind of some stuff as to why they weren't sure. I tell you, it's a very amazing story, and it's not like a Hollywood secrets kind of thing. But you'll have a chance to talk to her. There is we got so many guests from all different places. Mark McKenna, who is a comic book artist who has drawn all different types of comics for Marvel, he is going to be attending and have some specialty pieces that are on sale. We also have John Swayze, who is a voice actor. If not to mention, he was a regular actor. I mean, he's got his start in Dazed and Confused. That movie of Matthew McConaughey got his start. But think of any type of anime, whether it's Sir Crocodile or All for One for My Hero Academia. He's been in just about any big time current anime TV show you could think of, with the exception of Dragon Ball. He's going to be there as well. As I mentioned, Leah Savoli, who was there last year, but has done stuff with My Name is Earl and Robot Chicken and Deadwood. James Stokes was there last year, who played Jason in the later Friday the 13th movies. He's going to be there as well. And, not to mention, you just never know who's going to come through. We got a bunch of other people who we haven't announced yet that will be coming, specifically just the panels to talk to you about how to get into voice acting, to do a special reading of like kind of Back to the Future, of how you would read a script to kind of get people an idea of what happens when you audition. And we're even having a specialty thing. Leah Savoli wanted to do something very special about body image and things like that. Because one thing about Comic-Cons is it's something where people come out, they get dressed up, they have fun, but there's still that stigma that, hey, people who are into comics and video games and stuff like that and anime are some sort of, nerds or losers, or you have people who want to dress up like their superhero, but they're afraid because, they don't have 6-pack abs or whatever. And you should be able to throw that all out the window. And so we're even having, this panel that's about body image and about, hey, you be your own superhero and you be happy with who you are. And that's kind of the start of you being able to be awesome. And so I think that's going to be an important message in there as well.
Well, to that point, and Leah was a guest of our podcast, and we got a real, talking about what you just mentioned about body image and what she helps to focus and bring attention to. I mean, what you did last year with the Great Media Comic-Con, and look, Delco people came out, and as you said, we were expecting 600, 1,000 people show up. And I know those people that were not from Delco, but that specific day, they claimed to be at 1,000 people from Delco because they didn't want to be left out. But the reality of it is those that attended, that wasn't the mindset. Everybody was there to see and be seen and learn and laugh and experience and say, this is something that's a first run, top flight event that we've never seen. And I know that's one of the things that you mentioned last time on the podcast that was important. You could have held it in different venues, but Delco was where you focused on, because things like this, they come in Chicago and they go to San Diego and LA. But media gets a Comic-Con, and now it's 3 days. And when you talk about those things about people's impressions, there were, everybody's a nerd. I'm a nerd. You're a nerd. I mean, but we're all nerdy for our own things, and that's okay. And when you come out to something like this, I mean, it's so much fun. I can't wait. Look, can I dress up as Marty McFly?
Of course.
All right. So if I get in the DeLorean, nobody's going to say a word. I'm just jumping in.
Go for it. I mean, here's the cool thing too. And you brought up a good point about, there's always seems to be, I shouldn't say always, but there seems to be a stigma about being local. And that's the one thing that I think was so awesome about last year, and that we want to continue this year, is that you saw people who, served on the media borough council dressed up. The mayor came by, Mayor Bob, and just stopped by. He didn't, hey, I just want to see what's going on. So when you come to these type of things, you're going to see sometimes your neighbors who you didn't know had this artistic talent selling stuff, or, local stores that are selling things, or people who are in the media community, the Delco community, really being celebrated and having fun. And you get a chance to connect with friends in a way that you don't normally get to. And you don't have to travel to Philly or New York or DC. You do it right here in your own backyard. And that was really, really important to us. And it, like you said, the vibe is just really just relax, have a good time. I mean, so many people, I was actually surprised how many people came dressed up as everything from, we had a couple that dressed up as Ash and Pikachu, from Pokemon. We had a guy that dressed up like Prince from the Dave Chappelle Show skit. I mean, people dressed up however they wanted just to have fun and a good time. And of course, you can just come in jeans and a t-shirt too if you want to as well, and just enjoy. But the idea of it really being something that's very Delco heavy is something that is continuing, and we wanted to make sure we didn't lose that. Last year you had the Munchie Machine, and you had the Munchie Machine, or the Scooby-Doo van and the Munchie Machine. Are you going to have food available again? Is that something that's still in the works? Yeah, so actually there's a relatively new truck, Calaveras Tacos, who have done a few things, in the area. Probably seen them. They were at just about every winter festival you could think of. So they're going to be doing food service on Saturday and Sunday, and they're going to come up with probably some specialty things as well. The DeLorean will be there, so we won't have the Mystery Machine, but we will have the DeLorean there as well. As far as stuff outside, we are trying to see if we can get some custom-made cornhole sets, not just for our contest, but last year, those that were made, we were able to give away as far as a raffle. So we're hoping to get some Back to the Future those are in the works, but Back to the Future cornhole sets that we'd be able to give away as well. That's one thing that was a lot of fun too last year. I mean, we had raffles, but we had like 7 or 8 tables that were with stuff. So it wasn't like you just won one thing. Usually like you won 8 or 9 things that were very unique, that were signed or that were specialty made and things like that too. But yeah, I mean, some of the other people who have been just very much integral to helping us out as a sponsor, as a supporter, are people that you're very familiar with, Rich. They've been on your show. I mean, Tish over at Rags to Riches, Jeff over at School of Rock is we're working on getting him back as well. And then there's, a couple new people. There is a Cam Jameson, that specifically works to try to send kids to summer camp, to a week-long summer camp at a 90% discount. So, they're coming and able to try to do some things to try to raise money and bring awareness to what they're doing. And they are going to try to even like promote the fact that they have some spots open to see if, families who are in need but want their kids to enjoy summer camp can do that too. Not to mention, some of the people that we had last year that are coming back, 2 and 10. There is how could I draw a blank on this? The Reading Phillies are going to be supporting us. The Philadelphia Wings, and remind me to come back to that because they have a special deal for you guys that we both combined on. The Philadelphia Wings lacrosse team, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, as I mentioned. There's so many people that are willing to support us this year. It's awesome.
I watch your face and just your eyes get as big as saucers when you start to mention and how this has really gone from that one-day event that are people going to show up? Is it really going to be something? And now it's 3 days and it's like the Phantoms and the Phillies and the Wings. And now you're creating these wonderful connections and this tapestry that you're weaving from who's going on and what's going on in Delco to this special thing. This is really a special thing. And I am so excited that we have this here. I'm so excited to see the growth. I can't wait to see, like I said, look, Back to the Future. We need a Huey Lewis cover band playing. I'm sure you've thought about all these things, right?
Oh yeah. There's a few people we're trying to get on board. Did I mention that we talked to Jeff over at School of Rock? I'm just saying.
You did, yeah.
And I know he listens, so I'll just no pressure, Jeff. But that was one of the things that we wanted to do because Huey Lewis in the news and the music is just so important to that series. But also too, there's a lot of people. That's the one interesting thing about, I think, comic conventions in general. It unleashes creativity. So you have people that come to something like this, and it's not just about, if I could be an artist or, I get to dress up. But we did have people that went last year and then decided to, I remember I used to be very creative with music, and they started taking, music lessons, and they've told us about it, or taking up photography or do things like that because it inspired them. And that's something we definitely weren't expecting to get that. And that's a beautiful thing within its own right. But yes, the idea of getting a Huey Lewis cover band is definitely in the works.
Look, I think some of the things you touched upon, the panel discussion and the ability to have access to some of these minds and the experience, you never know who's going to be impacted by that, who's going to be inspired by that, who shows up next year and has had this great development of life. And that's what you're offering for the kids and the adults. What are the dates so people can make sure that they don't miss out? And when do tickets go on sale?
So it's about 2 months away. It's April 12th through 14th. Tickets are on sale now. If you go to our Facebook page or our Instagram, you look up Great Media Comic Con. You could also go to greatmediacomiccon.com to get tickets as well. And it's interesting. So I want to break it down for you. Tickets on Saturday are $15 for adults, $10 for kids. Tickets for Sunday, $10 for everyone. The movie thing on Friday, being that you get a chance to chat with Claudia Wells, who is in Hollywood, was in the movie. You get a chance to see a special screening of a movie that you normally don't get a chance to see in theaters. Take part in the cosplay contest. We're going to have photo ops, all the specialty drinks and stuff like that. That's part of a VIP package. Tickets for that is $65, but you don't just get tickets to that. You get tickets for the entire weekend. So you get to go then on that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Look, you go out for cocktails, you're going to spend $65
exactly
per person easy. Even in media, that's doable. And you get a movie and you get a meet and greet and you get who knows what other surprises you're going to be, bringing out that day. That sounds very reasonable for what you're offering. And truthfully, don't wait, because the media theater only has so many seats. So you really don't want to say, wow, we could have done that, but we waited a couple of weeks and now it's sold out.
That is true. And I will say this is one of those things where we have a certain number of seats, and we have sold quite a bit of tickets already. So it wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being sold out. We are going to try to do some places too, because I know some people have, unfortunately, it's the way of the world when you buy stuff online. There's a third party, they might charge a fee. We are trying to look at one or two ways where maybe we could sell physical tickets somewhere, someplace. Look out for that. Of where we might be doing, some places on our social media. We'll put it out there. But I would say if you're interested, you want to go, don't wait, pick up your ticket. You can't spend $65 to get a whole weekend of entertainment anywhere anymore, and this is something that is unique. That's a lot of fun. We're going to be posting pictures from last year's event pretty much every single day going forward, just because you see the joys on people's faces. And I mean, we remember how like on, Milton Bradley game boxes, it would say from 8 to 80, that's kind of the age group that was there last year. It was like from 8 to 80. So it doesn't matter. You're not too young for this. You're not too old for this. This is something that is literally for everybody. And we do this. Yes. We want to make sure that, hey, we're not, taking stuff at a loss, but we try to keep the price very reasonable for families, because we want all of you to have fun and we want all of you to enjoy yourselves. And we want you to be able to, whether you want to be a family of four that dresses up as all the members of the Lion King, or you want to come as, all the Suicide Squad people from the DC universe, or you just want to come and be dressed up like your favorite Sesame Street character, whatever you want to do, you can do it, come out. And it's not, wow, that's weird. It's, wow, that's cool.
It's always going to be, wow, that's cool, because it's the Great Media Comic-Con. And wow, that's cool. All right. We're recording this on February 12th. So what we're saying right now is we added an extra day because it's a leap year, but we're basically 2 months away from just fun.
Absolutely.
A big smile on everybody's face. That's what you're offering. Just a big smile, joy in their heart. And look, this is Sheik, you and your partners, you really work hard at this. And I know that from our last conversation, you have some wonderful grand plans, but this is a building. This is a stepping stone. And one day last year was amazing. 3 days this year, just mind blowing. So thank you to all the efforts, how hard you're working, all the things you're thinking about, and you're making Delco just even better of a place and a community to be. So thanks for that. We normally ask those traditional questions, but if you want to go back to the previous episode with Sheik and see where he went for a cheesesteak and a pizza, Wawa is still his go-to. You haven't started shopping at Royal Farms, have you?
No, still go to Wawa. Don't go to Royal Farms. Not going to Wawa for pizza though. I've heard it's good and they have delivery and all that, but no, still going to Pinocchio's for my pizza and all that fun stuff.
All right, we're going to discover April 12th to 14th, Great Media Comic-Con. Kick it off with the Back to the Future extravaganza. You got the panel the next day. You got the families and the kids and families on Sunday who can also come on Saturday. Just put everything aside and say, we're hanging out in media for the whole weekend and just have a great time. Is there anything we haven't told the listeners about you, the Great Media Comic-Con, before we land the plane on this one?
I do want to mention one little thing because, and Rich, I wanted to specifically save this for this podcast, okay? Because I know one major passion for you is helping small businesses. And so for us, we have sponsorships that are available. We keep them, reasonably priced to try to help small businesses and things like that, starting at $225. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that you, the person that happens to own or run a small business, gets the chance to hear from your customers beyond just your Facebook page. So what we're doing, we're actually going to run a little contest where we're going to debut it on February 16th. So by the time you hear this will already be up. on our social media. And what we're going to do is ask customers, all they got to do is like our page, just like our page, and nominate a business to get a free sponsorship from us. And what we want to do is just see people nominate their businesses. We're probably going to pick one or two just really out of a hat. But the purpose of this is that to give any business an opportunity to get some special love. We want you guys to be able to get comments from multiple people and be able to save them and use them on your stuff as well. And we wanted to be able just to kind of give back in some ways. I know, times unfortunately are still, very rough with everything that's going on. And I don't want to be a downer, but one thing about this, my background, I used to, work with businesses when I worked in your traditional radio stations, and you would see that businesses needed help with promotion, and we're a growing thing, and this is something that we have, and we want to give back in more ways than one. So we're going to have this kind of contest. It's going to be able to, award a business with a free sponsorship where we'll promote you just like if you were a regular sponsorship, and let people know about what you're doing. And there's going to be no limits on it. So it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 3 weeks or for 30 years. But we really wanted to give people an opportunity to just talk about their favorite businesses in Delco, what they loved, and kind of put that stuff out there and just give back to a business that maybe can't afford this, or maybe they just don't know what a Comic-Con is, and pull them into this nerdy goodness that we have, because it really is a joyous occasion. And that's kind of our way of giving back.
That is tremendous. That's what Delco's all about. You just see, now you got me shortage of words for that. I feel like I just feel like we got a scoop. We never get a scoop on this podcast, so I don't know what to do with it. You literally are what Delco's all about. The Great Media Comic-Con is what Delco is about, where we spread this to the world, and then everybody looks and goes, Delco? What's a Delco? What is this Delco thing? And this is what we do. We take care of each other. We look out for each other. We support each other. And that small business Saturday thing isn't a one-time thing. It's, yes, we want to see our neighbor succeed, because if our neighbor succeeds, we all do well. If the Great Media Comic-Con and Sheik succeeds, we get more of this. So thank you for what you bring to the community. Can't wait to see you on April 12th through the 14th, and all that you're bringing. Keep an eye on your webpage, your social media, for new announcements, new things coming, and maybe this year we will dress up. I can't wait to see what Dawn has in store for us.
I was going to say, you mentioned that, hey, the first time I was here, you asked me questions, and I was going to end with that question. What are you guys dressing up as? You got to get dressed up for year 2.
We'll work on it. We have 2 months. Like I said, I'm either showing up as Marty McFly or I'm going to show up as Einstein. So,
you could try to pull off a Doc Brown if you wanted. If you're going to go Einstein,
I guess if I talk like this, that's what I'm going to do. That's what we can do.
Just practicing Great Scott. That's all.
Yes, I will work on that. All right. He's a lot taller than he's actually a tall guy, I think.
But that's the beautiful thing about Comic-Cons. Listen.
This is my interpretation. If he was a 1.5 shorter,
you could be a 6'6" Spider-Man, or you could decide that you're going to be a 5'3", gigantus. Whatever you want to do, it's your thing. Have fun.
I think I'm referencing now the driver of the manure truck that dumps on Biff Taylor's car when he rear ends it. I'm coming as the manure driver. That's who I'm coming as.
You know what's funny? There is an actor that was part of Biff's, and I don't know if he was actually the manure driver, but that was part of his crew that was trying to make it and couldn't make it. So that would have been hilarious if that's really what you were going with. To be there, that would have been just epic.
Well, epic. Can't wait to see you. Thanks, Sheik, and thanks again for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. Thank you for being the first guest that's repeated, and we can't wait for your trifecta.
Thank you so much, Rich, and I can't wait to see you guys out there too, and all your listeners as well. Please come out. I'm telling you, you're going to have a great time.
Thanks, Sheik. Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.